Hello, property nomads. Hope you're doing well. This video might make you laugh. It might make you cry. It might make you even get a little bit angry because it just highlights how crazily insane current energy policy is and how you and I continually get screwed over by those in charge. Now, we'll go to the article in a second, but be prepared. Hopefully you sat down watching this or listening to this. The National Grid are paying a wind farm operator £2.48 million. Doesn't sound that bad, does it? But they're paying them to turn the wind turbines off because apparently they're producing too much electricity or unnecessary energy. These are going to be the same people that the government subsidised to build the same wind farms. And if you want the absolute kicker from all of this, it's going to get added to our electric and gas bills. So, woohoo, fun times. Welcome to Broken Britain. Let us go to the article and let's see what we can find. So, what we've got here, it's on msn.com, come from the Telegraph, the original article. And good old Ed Miliband, his flagship wind farm, paid nearly 2.5 million to keep wind turbines switched off. So, he's currently the energy secretary, and this is why we're all screwed. I'll keep it as YouTube friendly as possible. And he's praised the Viking wind farm in the Shetlands. Now, if you don't know where the Shetlands is, you're not familiar with the UK, it is basically go to the north of Scotland, go into the ocean, keep going north a little bit more, and a little bit more, and eventually you'll hit the Shetland Islands, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I've never been, but I hear it's actually meant to be utterly delightful place to go and have some time or take a vacation. But although the wind farm is one of the largest and it's meant to potentially power hundreds of thousands of homes, and as a result of that, the country would benefit from cheap, homegrown energy. You get the idea that these might be politicians' lies by any chance. The development is said to be the UK's largest onshore wind farm, okay? And he said it shows why we need more developments like this to make Britain a clean energy superpower, end quote. I won't go into that, it's not the video for it. Now, we've probably heard of Scottish and Southern Electric, probably just like most other utility companies, very quick at taking a lot of subsidies from the government, but it operates a Viking farm and it promised supposedly that it would be Britain's, I quote, most productive, end quote, onshore wind farm. But here's the kicker. Figures from the Renewable Energy Foundation show that 62% of its output had to be discarded in the first month. So we have a wind turbine farm, a wind farm here that I imagine has been heavily subsidised, that's been given to Scottish and Southern Electric to run or to build. So they've probably got a lot of subsidies for that. In producing these wind turbines and getting the land ready and all the diesel powered vehicles and whatnot they would have needed to have used to get the wind farm operational, which by the way is highly bad for the general area anyway, but you know, when it comes to net zero, we don't have to worry about mining because it's all good for the beneficial of the world. Yeah, okay, whatever. These wind turbines are producing energy. That's what they're meant to do. That's fine. That's great. But 62% of its output basically at a jog on. And the wind farm to date has been paid 2.48 million by the National Grid to reduce its energy output. So it's producing too much energy or unnecessary energy, and the National Grid is paying SSE to turn the turbines off because they're producing too much. It's mad. But here's the kicker. And I urge you to follow me and read this. The payouts, which will ultimately be added to consumer bills, have been made almost every day this month. I believe it's actually referring to August. Yeah, to August. They have varied between £227,192 down to £8,408 per day. Let me just read that again. And this is reference to the month of August. The payouts, which will ultimately be added to consumer bills, have been made almost every day this month and have varied between £227,192 and £8,408 per day. We're paying for this. Just so we're crystal clear, we are paying for this. The National Grid are here to apparently incentivize wind farms to reduce output where more energy is generated that can be used locally or exported to consumers elsewhere in the UK. We'll put a link to the article in the description below. But we need to let this sink in for a second, because the government, not just this government, I say previous government as well, are pushing us towards net zero, where in everyone's eyes of net zero, it needs to all be about solar and all be about wind, where there is very little analysis of the damage that the mining of these materials, the damages to the landscape of these places, especially if you're erecting wind turbines, for example. That's not taken into account because it's all about being greener, cleaner, and meaner. Which, to be fair, who doesn't want that? I think we all want that, but how we get there, I think there's a big disagreement on. So these energy companies who charge incredibly high unit prices and screw us over anyway are being subsidized to build these wind turbines, these wind farms. And then when the wind farms are up and running, because they're producing too much energy that's not useful for local people, then they're also being subsidized by the National Grid to reduce output. That's mad anyway. But again, the kicker is that all these subsidies, they're being added to your bill. They're being added to my bill. That's why your standard charge is going to go up. That's why your electric unit charge will go up. Heck, it's probably even why your gas unit charge will go up as well. This should make you mad. This should make you angry. I would urge you to write to your local MP and ask why the deuce this is happening. Because as consumers, we're in a lose-lose situation because of energy policy and all these subsidies. We are getting screwed left, right, and centre because if we're producing wind farms that are being subsidised, that's been added to your bill. Once they're built, they're now being subsidised not to run properly, and that's being added to your bill as well. And all in the name of net zero and climate change and all that eco nonsense that comes with it. By the way, if it's not added to your bill and the currency is being printed by the Bank of England, then that's inflationary. And then, well, we all get screwed by, well, not unless you've got gold, but we all get screwed by inflation. Anyway, it is the hidden tax. It is the stealth tax. So we're in a position where it's lose-lose, basically. But we should be angry by this. We should be outraged that the ineffectiveness of government with regards to energy policy is burning a hole in our back pocket. And it will continue to do so, I think, for a very, very long time. We already have sky-high bills. They're going to keep going up because we have a very disjointed and unsuitable energy policy for the UK. And it's absolutely crazy. That's why I said at the start, it's quite sad to even think about that and to admit that. But that article should all get us a bit angry. And we should all write to our MPs and ask them to explain their energy policy and do something about high unit costs and standing charges, because these companies are milking it, and that's not acceptable, especially when they're then getting handouts by the National Grid to not run the things that they were subsidised to run. and it all gets added to your bill and my bill at the end of the day. Yeah, and by the way, even any currency that the Bank of England creates, we're going to ultimately have to pay for anyway. So it really is a big business, a big lose-lose situation. Not happy. We'll put that in no bueno category, to say the least. More favour to us, please do subscribe and like the channel. That'd be great. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.